Thank you so much for everyone for joining us today at the GameCheck podcast. Today I'm sat with Alessandro from the Fomento Agency. Alessandro, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, Jack. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you, and thanks for having me. So Fomento, it's an affiliate network, especially for LATAM. Our main market is Brazil, and we work also with Tier 1 and with other markets in Latin America. I'm the co-founder of the agency, of the network, and we are always looking for new partners and affiliates, let's say.
Amazing. And when you guys work with affiliates, what sort of when choosing to work with affiliates, do you work with all, or is that kind of things you look for in an affiliate that you go, yeah, I want to work with this person, or not so much?
No, we don't work with all affiliates that comes in our platform. We have a KYC, so the affiliate needs to have a company registered in their own country or in third-party countries, but they need to have a professional structure. We ask seven questions to affiliates just to understand a little bit what kind of traffic source they are using, what kind of experience they had in the past with other operators or other networks, and what do they expect from us. So after that, we approve the affiliate or we reject the affiliate. Also based on operator feedback, if there is any incentive traffic or fraud, we just reject the affiliate. So affiliates here a very specific KYC.
That makes sense. And when you think about an affiliate, and obviously this is GameCheck, we look at player trust, right? And that's something I want to dive into. What do you think affiliates look for, and what do you guys look for, and where does that overlap with trust signals when choosing which operators to promote and work with, and maybe operators you go, yeah, I don't really want to work with them? How do you guys sort of identify those operators at the moment?
Well, good question. We work a lot in regulated markets, right? There are a lot of affiliates that they prefer to work only with regulated offers, and there are also some other affiliates that they prefer to work with not regulated offers. Usually, this depends. For example, we are talking about Brazil, right? It's our main market. This depends also on how if they show their faces, if they are, for example, tipsters or influencers, they show their faces. They prefer to work with the regulated offers because they want to be clear and fair with their audiences. If they do, for example, media buying or stuff like traffic sources that are like a little bit less personal, let's say, they prefer working with not regulated operators because for many reasons, let's say, it converts more, it pays more. So.
And how are those affiliates standing out? Regulated markets tend to have an easier time in showing player trust. Obviously, they still have their own issues there, but how do they try and sort of stand out in those sort of non-regulated markets as well, especially prior to Brazil coming regulated? What's that trend, and what do people look for, and what do affiliates look for as well?
The most important stuff is the withdrawal. Because all the affiliates they test the offer, they test the operator, and they try to do the full cycle of the journey, let's say. So they try to deposit, to bet, and then to withdraw. If they have issues to withdraw, or if the withdrawal is a bit late, like 2-3 days, they tend to not run traffic, no? And after that, they send us this information, this feedback, and with this feedback, we go to the operator and we try to speed up things. The most important thing is the withdrawal, but also the games needs to be original as well, because we both know that a lot of operators they have fake games. So yeah, that's the main point, let's say.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I suppose what would be interesting to hear from your perspective as well with these affiliates is how was this kind of ecosystem, since you founded things in 2015, how has this evolved over the last few years, and what's been kind of major shifts you've seen both in the market but also affiliate expectations over that time period as well?
When the regulation is coming, I think it's cleaning a little bit the database of operators and affiliates, and is professionalize a little bit the landscape. So we saw a lot of operators shutting down the operation in Brazil. We saw a lot of affiliates also pause or suspend or terminate their affiliate activities, because of course when the market is regulated, immediately buying traffic it's more expensive. It's more expensive because even the platforms they have less clients, even the DSP they have less clients, less operators that are regulated, so they try to increase the cost per click usually. And also with the regulated offers, with Face ID you convert less, because you don't have multi accounts anymore that you used to have with not regulated brands. So there are some changes, I think, but it's more professional. Let's say it's less volume, more quality, and more professionalism, in my opinion.
That makes sense. Interesting. And I suppose going back to regulated versus grey market and the traffic dilemma that goes with that, how should affiliates evaluate whether sending traffic to a regulated versus non-regulated brand? How are they actually evaluating this, and what's the risk to them, and is it worth it?
Good question. It depends. I think yes, because the payments that the not regulated operators they do, it's insane, 200% more than regulated. But also you have a concrete risk to not get paid, because they usually have KPIs. So and if you don't reach the KPI, you don't get paid. So this is a very big risk for us and for the affiliate as well, because the affiliate got paid if we got paid. To work with regulated, it's more clear, it's more transparent, but also we got some unpaid invoices also from regulated operators, especially in Brazil. Everything is very emotional. So for example, they increase tax rates now in 2025, at the end of 2025. And a lot of operators are struggling for this, and they are reducing investments for affiliation in general. When you work in the regulated market, you need to understand also the politics, the landscape of the country, the situation. So it's a little bit more tough.
Interesting. And with that in mind, how do both maybe not companies like yourself, but feel free to kind of add your own view on that. But when you're working with these affiliates, how do you think they maintain their growth while staying compliant with these kind of constantly evolving environments? Like, what do you think they're doing to help kind of stay on the right side of things if they even choose to?
We try always to add new things, add new features in our platform, and add new offers, new operators, new landing pages, new links, because like this, we constantly keep moving. And especially because offers, operators, there are waves. There are some operators that they arrive, they convert very well. We make a lot of money, affiliates and us, and then after 3-4 months, it's saturated, because at the end, each affiliate has their own user base, let's say. So we constantly keep moving the user base to new operators that they are coming in. So that's the situation. And also, when we start with an affiliate, we know that sooner or later, if they grow, they will go directly to the operator, no? Because we are a middleman, and we know that. But we work together 1 year, 2 years, and for us it's already good. And after that, we know that they will work in their own path, and without us, let's say. But this is a circle, and everything is starting again.
That's interesting. Are there any risks to them kind of cutting you guys out, or is it the kind of the normal stuff that you'd expect? Maybe some issues with payments, those sorts of pieces, or are there any other risks that kind of come with going directly to the operator?
No, it's something that is normal for us. We experienced that so much in these 6 years of activity. I'll be honest. At the beginning, I was a little bit pissed off with this, because we especially with new affiliates, we spend a lot of time.
You introed them, and then they did this to you.
No, we spend a lot of time to train them, to acknowledge them about the market, about their gaming and stuff, because maybe they are affiliate that they do e-commerce, they do another stuff, and then they start with us. We train them about iGaming, we train them about traffic sources and stuff, and then after 1 year they go directly to the operator, no? And I understood that is completely fine. We just need to be honest, to have an open relationship and say, listen, thank you for this period. I'm going directly to the operator, but I will introduce you my friends. I will do this for you. I will create a communication channel for you and stuff. So like it's not the point that it's happening, but the point is to be honest and be transparent and be clear.
That makes sense. And I suppose maybe what are the sort of wins, but also mistakes do you see affiliates making when trying to scale too quickly, especially in competitive regions? Do you think going directly to the operator is one? Do you think it's a good? I mean, I get the impression you think it's a good thing for them, but be interesting to kind of explore that. If there's any other kind of things you would say, hey, I think when trying to scale too quickly, this is a mistake, but also I'd be looking at this instead.
So, if you are an affiliate and you want to work directly with the operator, you need to have a structure. Because you will get 20-25 payments from 20-25 entities. So you would need someone in finance, let's say, someone that is doing the relationship with the client. So I'm not saying that it's wrong for them, but you need to have a structure. If you have a structure, it's fine. If you don't have a structure, you will be struggling a lot. That's why network exists, right? To get one payment at the end of the month that includes 20-30 different operators. So that's the situation. For me, you can do that, you can do this jump, but you need to have a structure, you need to have a small team to analyze all this stuff.
That makes sense. Is there any other kind of things you would take away when trying to scale? Any other kind of, especially in competitive markets, is there anything you would go, we see this mistake all the time, or we think this works really well?
Yeah. So basically, the mistake is when we started the traffic with 3-4 trust force sources with another new operator, they always ask us more volume. And when they ask us some more volume, it's easy to get a little bit instant traffic, fake traffic, and this kind of stuff, because they try to fill in with the users that are not interested in that. That's normal, and that can be solved easily with technical stuff, with parameters and user ID or source ID or stuff like that, but unfortunately not a lot of operators has this kind of knowledge and mindset. Unfortunately, many operators that think if they receive fraud, for them they are scared, that they don't want to continue, but fraud is normal, because we get CPA paid 4 or 5 times the baseline. I mean, fraud, it's happening every day in this market. So you don't need to be scared, because we don't sell ice cream. We sell traffic in iGaming.
That's a really good analogy. Like, I feel like fraud is kind of...
it's a fraud. It's based on fraud,
Yeah.
So sorry to say that, but I try to explain.
It's true though. Like, I was saying it to James. We were chatting about this, our CEO, the other day, and I said, like, if fraud wasn't a thing, we wouldn't be in business either. Like, that unfortunately, iGaming, that's just a part of the risk you have to take.
Yeah. We talking about that with an e-commerce guy, that affiliate of e-commerce, that he get a percentage on the sale of the product, let's say 70%. So there is no fraud, so you purchase an item and I get percentage of this item. In this case, you get 4 or 5 times the baseline. And he told me, how can I work like that? I say, you have to maintain the player. It's not only the acquisition, but you have to maintain the player. But it's so different between iGaming and other verticals. This is just an example, right?
Yeah, actually, that's interesting. Have you sort of encountered any other cases where kind of fraud has impacted an affiliate, or something we see as affiliates sort of promoting inadvertently in fake games, but any other kind of, and that damages their reputation as well, but any other kind of instances where kind of this fraud has impacted the affiliate performance, but also trust in the affiliate as well?
Yeah, fraud, it's a very, very large topic. We can discuss what is fraud and what is not fraud, because the most common fraud is I get paid 50 euro. I'm an affiliate. I get paid 50 euro. The baseline is 5. I pay you 20 euro, and you do the deposit, and I get the commission. That's the most common fraud, let's say. But then there is also some coincidences. The traffic can be fraud, but then after the player is real and play and actually play and bet and stuff, it's difficult to understand that. And also there is there are fraud in operator side, because they say to you, I'm not making NGR, so this is fraud, even if it's not fraud, because if there are activity. For me, the most important thing is player activity, because if I bring you a player and the player is active, deposit, bet, and withdraw, it's impossible to be fraud. It's impossible. Just because you don't do NGR because they win a lot of money, that doesn't mean that you don't have to pay for FTD, because we are not working in revenue share. It's CPA. it's a, it's kind of this kind of discussion. It's on daily basis with operators, regulated, not regulated. So the fraud barrier, it's very, very difficult to spot, in my opinion.
Interesting. What things make it difficult to spot beyond that? Just kind of the blurring of the lines, or are there other things you go, actually this is hard to spot because it's just so kind of hidden?
Yeah, because it's hidden, because sometimes operators, they have their own KPI and they don't even communicate to you. They don't communicate the KPI to you, and it's difficult to understand what they call it fraud or not.
Yeah, I feel sometimes like especially in this industry, it can be so kind of blurred that it can be really hard to identify. Something that we do that really helps, but I want to sort of, we think helps, and we know it helps as well. We've done some research on it, but let's get your experience. Does certification actually help influence player behavior at scale, or do you think it's more the affiliate that kind of promotes that behavior, or do you think there's something else here? Especially when we're talking about combating fraud and kind of one of the things we do is our GameCheck seal. How do you think this sort of certifications help?
For me, it depends on the geo, in the geo, because countries like, for example, LATAM or Asia, they advertise that you can change your life playing games, playing slots or casino, and this is something that in more developed countries, like for example in Europe, it's not something that we see anymore, let's say, or we see very rarely, or with less frequency, So in this case, kind of incentivized message, and it's difficult also to spot. But the thing is, our focus in as an affiliate network, we need to maintain everyone happy, affiliate and operator, and sometimes it's very difficult. But we try to, especially negotiating the better conditions, or negotiating even better payouts, or trying to get paid something that is not fraud, So that's what we do usually.
And then I suppose with that, is there anything you sort of look for with is it just payouts, or are there other things you look for when you're trying to help sort of choose which operators you want to promote, and how those those trust signals you're sending out to players as well?
Well, it's the important thing is the payout, but also it's not only the payout. It's content, it's localization. It's if the operator understand the geo where we are working, if they have payment method in place, because it's some regulated markets, payment method come and go. Sometimes you can play, and sometimes then they remove. And then they cannot withdraw. So it's a little bit tricky in regulated markets. But nowadays, I mean, a lot of markets are regulated, and there are few big markets that are not regulated yet. So we are talking about something that it's for all geos, let's say.
That makes sense. And actually, speaking of geos, especially with LATAM, what markets are currently the most promising for affiliates, and why would you say that?
In LATAM, we are seeing Chile, that is very good. The player value is very good. There's not a market of volume like Brazil, for example, but the player value, it's the best in the region. Argentina is also a very good market, especially for sportsbook. There is also Peru is good. Brazil, of course, it's good. It's more volume. Mexico, it's a market that everyone is going in because I see that there is a lot of potential in Mexico as well. Those are, for me, the best markets right now in LATAM.
Interesting. And then I suppose really my final sort of question that I have to go through here is kind of, what are your predictions for those markets over the next 3 to 5 years? How can you see things changing, kind of evolving, and kind of moving forward?
Well, I think in a regulated market, in LATAM, in regulated markets, we will see cannibalization, let's say, of operators. So small and medium operators will sell their portion, let's say, their stake to biggest established operators, like we saw, for example, in Italy. That was the trend also in Italy, that now the license has 50 operators only, or 50 big groups only. And in Brazil, for example, we'll do like that. And in Brazil, of course, the license is for 5 years, and after that, we will need to see if they will renew it, if they will cancel. yeah, we will need to see what is going on. But I believe they will renew the license, and they will open also to land-based casino, because this is also a huge market for Latin America, for tourism, for hospitality. It's moving a lot of things involved.
Interesting. Amazing. That's really interesting. Alessandro, thank you so much for your time, and it was great to have you on today.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you. Thanks for having me.